Welcome to the One Hand at a Time podcast. I'm your host, Chris Welton. And today I have a special guest, somebody who I've been working with for, I think about 18 months now. Yeah. But I'm like, we got to get you out there. I want people to see who you are other than me on the other side of a camera. So I want to welcome Evan Miller to the show today.
Chris, it's a pleasure to be here, brother. I'm honored. I've loved coaching with you and watching the podcast. So big fan, first time caller. So excited to get into it.
I love that. Well, I'm excited too. And, I was doing my LinkedIn scrub this morning and just reading some different things, trying to gather more information about you than I already knew. And I was very impressed because I've got a real dear friend of mine who went through the same thing, who's dyslexic. Right. Yeah. And he still has challenges with it today, and he's 50 years old. Right. So we all, I believe, are defined, or we have these defining moments in our life from the ages of 9 and 13 that kind of define who we're going to be. Right. Like, yeah, you have a foghorn, is someone you don't want to be, or a lighthouse, someone you want to go to. So fifth grade falls right into that 9 to 13. Who was the lighthouse for you during that time period?
My grandfather. Yeah. So I grew up in a great household. So single mom, fantastic mom, major supporter of us, but she's busy with work. But my grandparents were retired. They had a cattle ranch quarter mile from our house. So I got to spend most of my childhood on the ranch, just raising cattle, doing stuff with my grandpa, hanging out with my grandmother, and had an amazing relationship. Their relationship was a really good example for what a good marriage looks like.
Yeah.
But my grandfather was a really good vision of this is what a man looks like, right? Fixed his own cars, ran a cattle ranch, great husband, fun to be around. I don't know what happened to me. He never cussed. He cussed one time in his life, and there was a story and lore about the one time he cussed. So I think that's the one place I've probably fallen off the boat a little bit. But
that's the mortgage business. That's the mortgage business.
Yeah, it is. As far as for the lighthouse, my family and the people that I was surrounded by, that was big. And I'll tell you, this is maybe one of the most impressive parts. My grandma just passed away recently, and they're dealing with their trust and all these things. And these are people who did not make much every year.
Yeah.
They have millions of dollars in assets. And I was like, that just makes you guys more impressive to me, because I know guys who make millions of dollars a year who don't have the asset portfolio that they did. So it was like, wow, not only were these amazing human beings, but they really built generational wealth for their family time. So it's just key pieces like that you get kind of goosebumps from and go, wow, these are really amazing people.
Yeah. My grandmother passed away in December of 22. God, I can't believe it's been almost 4 years. December. She passed away New Year's Eve 22. She was 96 years old.
96, my grandma too. Yeah.
My grandfather passed away 18 months before. He was 97. They were married 75 years.
I love it.
And let me tell you something. Very frugal life, beautiful house that they built in 1950 in Orange County, which is, what that's worth now. But like this beautiful home, but same with them. Tons of assets. We were going through all that stuff, and it's like, man, they you know what? Because they only bought what they needed to buy.
Oh,
right.
I saw my grandma and grandpa wear the same exact clothes for the 45 years that I knew them. Yeah. So yeah, they did what they needed to do, not extravagantly.
Yeah, not to impress anybody. My grandfather fought in World War II, was an engineer, and then came and retired from the military. And then he worked for the state of California, and he retired from there as an engineer. So he used to make jokes that he blew up bridges in the war and he built bridges when he moved back. But that's what they knew. Right. So they work and work hard and put money back. In today's environment, it's like work hard, spend more.
Or work hard to spend more.
Yeah. It's right. Like, I'm going to get a raise so I can buy a Porsche. You're like, what? I'm going to get a raise so I can buy a Bentley. You're like, okay, well, do you even have a house yet? No, but we'll get a house. Get a
Yeah, I'm
house.
gonna get a raise so I can retire someday.
Well, that's the run. One of the jokes in South Florida is all the kids that have Bentleys and Porsches that still live at home with their moms. Like it's a common occurrence. But
Yeah.
I could go down a rabbit hole with that forever. But so I mean, so you have this great leadership. You see this great example of what a family's supposed to look like. Do you find yourself stepping back from where you are with your relationship and with your family and going, okay, I'm not living up to the standards my grandfather has, or this is why we're working on this. I mean, have you ever evaluated it against that?
Yeah, a few years ago. So I've been, I would say if I'm going to give myself a grade as a dad up to 3 years ago, probably like 85%. Show up every single time, always there, supportive, caring, showing them what the world is, educating, understanding, coach teams, did all the dad things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a few years ago, I made a concerted effort to say, like, am I really up to my potential? Am I really living up to my potential? And I'll tell you, you talked about foghorns and lighthouses. I had some heavy foghorns, especially when I was young.
Yeah.
My mental perception of my worth was pretty low for a really long time. You know, you live in a small town, and I ran wild. I was a rough kid. I made some solid poor choices, all before 18, so nobody knows about them, which is really good. But that echoes for a long time, and it was only a few years ago, and I'm not saying I was underperforming, but I was in no way hitting my own personal potential. And the biggest thing that I did was step away from drinking.
Yeah.
It was it was our coaching. I think came shortly after that.
Mhm.
But I had been reading and really digesting and understanding. I needed to raise my floor of what was acceptable. If I wanted to have the highest level individuals around me, I needed to be exceptional in order to earn that opportunity. I needed to become the type of person who has an ecosystem that is so big and so valuable. But I wasn't that person yet. So when I stepped away from drinking, it was lightning in a bottle for me. I started to hit personal fitness potential, my family and communication potential, my marriage got better, and I've got a phenomenal wife. And been married for almost 20 years at this point. Shout out to Audra.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, and I couldn't have done any of it without her. And I'll tell you, it was really scary going through that step because you're so personally attached to it. I was a bartender. I'm a big social guy. I like to throw big parties and cocktail parties, things like that. And I was terrified of losing that. And all that really ended up happening was it amplified it, but in an ultra positive way, because now I'm actually present when I'm in those moments. I'm taking so much more out of it. But not only that, I think the biggest benefit I got from it is, and this was kind of the key that turned this lock for me. I just wanted to wake up in the morning and be able to execute from the second that I'm up. We don't have time. None of us have infinite amounts of time. It's the one thing that we're all lacking is enough time. And if I'm wasting time being 65% of what I can be, that's on me. And I just needed to own that and say, hey, I'm better than this. I could perform at 100% all the time. And not only that, if I'm performing at 100% when I need to execute, it gives me time for my family more. It gives me time for my training that I do. It gives me time for personal development, relationships like that. That I think was the biggest lightning in the bottle that I caught from it.
Yeah. So a couple of things there I want to unpack. And the first one is that you and I and several other people that we know have a blessing and a curse. The blessing is we don't have to put 100% in to be a top performer.
Yep.
The curse is we don't have to put 100% in to be a top performer.
Yep.
Like it's easy for us to show up unprepared and win. And then you have to, for me, it's like, I'm like, Chris, we got to get back. Like we got to raise that standard and keep going and keep pushing forward and do those things. I could run at 60% and still outperform most people in my industry. Mm-hmm. And that's a curse. And I think that's the same with you, Evan. Like you're running at 85% or less probably sometimes, but you were still winning. Yeah. Right. So it's so important to make that switch and understand and redefine what winning is, because they're winning isn't my winning, bro. Like I want to be different. You know
Judging
what I mean?
yourself by the people that are around you is so bad.
Yeah.
I judge myself by my own performance and my own execution and my own personal and professional goals. You're so right. And I did it for so long. I'd look at the leaderboard. All right, top two, crushing it. Because remember, I had self-fulfilling prophecies that said, I took a test in high school. This is not made up. Mrs. Bird, my high school counselor, did not love me. I took this test. It said future jobs that you should apply for. Mine was amusement park worker.
Nice.
And you know, I didn't find my stride in high school. I found my stride in college and beyond. And you know, but those moments, especially when you're young, they stick with you. And you know, when you're top couple, you're like, wow, I'm doing great. And the older you get, you go, no, I'm judging myself by somebody else's execution. That's terrible.
Yeah. So I want to go with another part of that is that when you're a top producer, a top performer, somebody who understands discipline in all facets of life to create the life that you really want and the life you deserve, how disheartening is it when you see people that won't put forth any effort?
Oh, brother, it's the most challenging piece of leadership, hands down. You know, whenever somebody goes into leadership for the first time, they go, I'm going to get everybody to X. I can do it. I will make that. I will will that into life. The reality is, not everybody is at that stage in their personal journey. Yeah. They're just not. And I could be the most phenomenal. I think I'm an exceptional leader, but it does not matter. It's about where that person is and meeting them where they are. And you know, something that I've learned from coaching, and I'll tell you, coaching is hands down one of the most valuable pieces of my journey. I've got two business coaches. Chris, you're one of them. I love working with you. Tony Cooper, another phenomenal business coach. And the biggest thing that I've learned from it is 80% of your production staff will be somewhere in that flux. You know, they might be hitting 30% of their potential. They might be hitting 60%. 20% is going to be hitting 80 to 95%. And that's been really the biggest piece for me is I've had to really focus on one key thing, which is I focus on my inputs. If I know my inputs are nails and that top 20% is soaking it up and expanding and moving their floor up, I know I'm on the right page. Where I've had to focus on is disconnecting from the output, meaning that if I have loan officer A, B, and C that are getting the same messaging and just doing nothing with it, I need to disconnect myself from that because I can't go to the lowest common denominator and say I'm failing as a leader. And that was a big challenge for me. I'm a family guy. I'm a lover. I like the people who choose to work with me. I've chose to spend their life in my ecosystem and I honor that. So I don't want to take away from that, but that's been a big piece for me is I've had to just start meeting people where they are and understanding not everybody's hitting a home run every day or hitting at 100%. Some of them are having challenges out there.
Yeah. I, you know, there's that old saying that you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? I mean, and that's a chain, right? And I think that's such a poor management tactic to think that way because like, you're only as strong as the top producers are going to produce. And I don't care what you run, what business it is. It's the 20-80 rule. Sometimes it's 10-90. Like those are the ones that are going to produce. You hope that one day the guys in the middle want to get hungry and grow a little bit. But the people that are at the bottom, they're going to be at the bottom their whole life. Like very rarely have I ever seen somebody go from the bottom to the top. Like they just don't want it bad enough. Right. Yeah. Like they don't have that burning desire inside of them to go be great. And a lot of them have the skill set. They just don't want to do the work. Right. So it's like
they all have the skill set. I think that's like you said, is the most challenging part because they actually, they have all the tools. They're not willing to commit to the daily activities and disciplines that lead to it. That's just the end result.
Yeah. So for those of you that are listening that don't know much about the mortgage business, let me just tell you something. If you show up and do the work and follow up and are not afraid of the phone and put the time in, you can make 7 figures a year. No problem. It's $1 million plus business when you're a
Yeah.
good producer. Like we know how, I don't even know how many we know that do that,
Mm.
but it's also a job where you can make $10,000 a year, right? If you're
Yeah.
closing one deal, like whatever. But like, so it really comes down to what do you want to do? Who do you want to become? Like in, in having the right leadership, you guys have the great leadership. I mean, like, I don't know what else you would need to succeed at Element unless you guys had a way of making your rates 2 points better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Besides that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right. So like, I don't know how that would work, but like, you guys have great leadership inside your organization with you and PJ. I mean, you guys are really hands-on with what that looks like. And what I enjoy about working with you guys is you guys are polar opposites.
I love it. Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like,
Visionary executor. You got to have a sprinter and you got to have a marathon runner.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, and when you don't, it just doesn't, you're not rowing the boat, the right way. Things aren't going to be unstable. There's always going to be chaos. And it's been really interesting to watch you guys grow that. And, 60 million, you guys doing 60 million this month?
Yeah, we're going to end right around 60 this month. Yeah. So
60 million in production. I mean, that dude, I think when we started working together, it was below 20.
probably right. Yeah. We've 3X the company in about 24 months.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it, we've 3X the company in 24 months with the right people, the right strategies and leadership, like just absolutely aligned
Mm-hmm.
and know where we're going. And I'll tell you, you bring a visionary like PJ and you bring an executor like me, and we both have qualities that overlap a little bit. The biggest challenge of getting that partnership to start functioning is trust.
Mm-hmm.
A visionary is always, this is what we need to do. Not a ton of base building underneath. Well, that's where then the next person needs to go. I can make a commitment to that. I got you. Boom. And it has to hit the ground. If it doesn't hit the ground, that visionary loses trust and is like, okay, this, I can't make this work. And that elegant process of building trust and execution, I'll say it all the time. I have evanisms, is what somebody on an interview just called it recently. My grandma always told me, if you make a commitment, follow through. If you can't follow through, don't make the commitment. And that's the biggest thing that I take out is to the market and to the partnerships that we go into. And with PJ is we know what our commitment range is. Let's go hard. Let's push the limits. I want to make commitments that make me a little bit uncomfortable because it means I'm growing and it means we're going to need to become something else as an organization to satisfy those commitments. And I don't make commitments and not follow through. We're going to do it. And it's that type of pressure that I really thrive under. And I think most people in our organization do. But you're right. It's the differentiator. It's the special sauce that's in there is just that will and that drive in order to make it happen.
Yeah. So to go back to your childhood and learning all this stuff from your grandfather and seeing him be a great leader, that's a reflection in who you are now as a leader, right? You have
me
that.
Honoring. Oh, it's me honoring his work. Absolutely.
Right. So, and when we have new relationships and we have those conversations with new people we bring in, I like to try to figure out what their childhood was like, because there may be a little bit of uncertainty there from PTSD on how their dad talked to them or how they grew up. And it's good to know that, to get in front of it, right? And that's how you build those strong relationships with your people you bring in, is understanding what that looks like. Because if you do something that reminds them of the parent they hated, they're going to leave.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I'll tell you, I try to lead as authentically as possible. I mean, you can tell from how I show up. I'm an authentic guy. Like, you get what you get when you work with me. But not only that, there used to be this, we don't talk about faith in business. We don't talk about personal stuff in business. No, that's what leads us to our execution and our daily. And I'll tell you, you're 100% right. Because I've got guys on our team that are like, if they're defiant. And they're defiant because of something that happened when they were younger, and they had this defiant thing that started, and they're like, I just don't listen to authority. And they'll own it and they'll talk about it. And so you walk back through that and then you identify what some of those triggers are. It helps you understand how to be a better leader. And I think those are the boundaries that previously I was probably nervous to go into.
Yeah.
But that's the secret sauce of makes us who we are. And
Mhm.
the best way to do it is just being authentic and sharing the challenges that I've had and that I'm going through. We're all human beings. Like a guy that you coach and a guy who's near and dear to me, Adam Hammond, his social media, so authentic. Like it is
Yeah.
Adam on a plate, and man, it's dad stuff and it's family stuff. And like that's the magical part that I think that happens because this isn't just business, this is life. Like business is a game, yes, there's wins and losses, but this is our life and these are our families that we're dealing with. And I think when you can blend those two together, it just creates better relationships, better trust, better execution, kind of across the board. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to trust someone, you have to know them, the full
Mhm.
who they are. And I love transparent leadership from a place of not transparent, here's all the numbers, but transparent on who I am as a person and what
Yeah.
makes me want to be a great leader, right? Like, so like there's not enough of that communication out there. There's not enough faith conversations out there too. Like, I really think that if you're both believers, there should be some faith conversations in there too. And if you're not, it's okay. It is what it is. But when I'm talking to my clients who are believers, we talk about God very often. The conversations is very prevalent. Like we have those conversations. So, um, I think that's pivotal in creating a culture that you want. Right.
Yeah,
And I know,
absolutely. And here's the thing that it's not ostracizing to anybody either. Like
mm-mm,
that's it doesn't need to be. If you're authentic in your way of that's my belief and this is where I'm at. I don't care what anybody else believe. You believe in Mars being whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
yeah,
It's about the path that I'm on, the execution that I'm going to go forward with.
yeah. All right. So let's talk extreme athletics.
Extreme or I'm not a
Yeah.
high rocks guy, brother. You got me smoked on that one.
Well, bro, that's a whole nother one. I'm starting training Friday for the next one, but we're going to do a mixed doubles. My wife's going to do it with me.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
so excited about that. But you're a triathlete, like you do triathlons, and that's something I've never attempted and I have no desire to attempt. But how does the training and the discipline for that make you a better leader, better husband, better father?
Yeah, man, in so many different ways. Deliberate time management is a absolute must. If you cannot manage your time, don't ever even think about getting in triathlons, especially any type of long distance.
Yeah.
It's about time management, and I've had that skill set in my life for quite a while. Time management's a big piece of it, but I think it's I want to break myself as often as possible because if I'm finding those boundaries and those limits personally, and I might break myself because my schedule is just too jacked up, and it may not even be a workout. It might just be getting to the
Mhm.
workout.
Yeah.
It can wreck you sometimes, and it's finding those gray areas and exploiting them personally just gives you that tenacious energy inside that won't quit. And I think that's now, am I breaking records or doing anything phenomenal from a time perspective? No. And actually, I don't even care if I do. I'm not
Yeah.
there for the time. I'm there for the experience. I'm there for the dedication to it. And also remember, I got a chip on my shoulder from when I was young. I'm there to put it next to my name and say, I do this
Mhm.
because I want to have, and I do have things in my life that I do that are hard. And I want people to know that because I think there's so many soft people in the world in this day and age who don't want to come anywhere close to the fringe of their breaking point.
Mm-mm.
It's terrifying. They don't want to do it. And man, if I could inspire anybody, and I'll tell you, one of the best things we did, we opened up CIM last year, so California International Marathon. I said, hey, anybody in the company who wants to come do this, I'll pay. I'll fly you out here. I'll pay for your ticket. I'll get your hotel room. If you've done a marathon before, great. If you haven't, I don't care. But start training now.
Yeah.
And dude, we sparked 3 people that had never done a marathon before to go in and do that. And I'll tell you, they found their breaking points multiple times throughout it, whether it was scheduling, whether it was execution, whether it was the time management, it doesn't matter. But man, the growth that came from it and the camaraderie, like I say this quite often. I think about this a lot. We didn't have a war like World War II, where
Right.
men or women came together or the United States came together the way that they did. We have to manufacture that type of in the trenches, and ours is not life and death. Like we're so far away, but I want to create those moments where we are in the trenches together and we're going to support each other and we're going to push each other and we're going to keep each other on our feet to go to that next piece. That's the secondary piece, and that's more the special part side of just the personal training I do by myself.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm an extreme guy. I have to have some kind of challenge. Like I'm going to run a half marathon second week of November as I'm training for High Rocks just to get my running dialed in. And it'll be my seventh half marathon I've run.
Nice.
But I haven't run one in 9 years probably. So like I'm training for it, right? Getting back at it. And I'm 6'5", 260 pounds, right? So like I'm a Clydesdale, baby. Like I'm not built for speed. You know what I mean? So like, but if you put me in something, I'm going to find a way to finish and find a way to get there, get across the finish line. And I use that so much in life when challenges and things come about. Mm-hmm. And part of the new book I'm getting ready to release has something that called the Adversity Accelerator. And what it is a teaching that put yourself in hard, uncomfortable positions intentionally so that when life blindsides you, you got it. It's not a big deal. Like I hate cold water. I hate it. Like, but I will sit in it every morning for 5 minutes just to prove I can. Right. Yeah. Like, so we do these things and we stack them. So when a client calls me and they're having the worst day of their life, I'm like, come on, man, you got this. Like, I don't have to deal, I can help them manage it because of what we've done. So I'm a big believer in putting forth crazy effort in different areas and testing and stretching yourself to figure out what your limits truly are. And
Brother, I'll tell you one of the best compliments. I apologize, I didn't mean to stop you there. One of the best compliments I ever received was a couple of weeks ago, and PJ, in a meeting, I said, "Hey, we just need a one-liner description for each one of these people on this to prepare for what we were going to go into." And his was, no matter how hot the room is, no matter if the walls are falling down, the roof is falling down, he's like, "You're the coolest cucumber in the room, and you see the decision, you pull away the noise, and you go towards the execution." And you're right. I think it actually comes from that personal challenge piece of it. So, bro, I couldn't agree more. And I think it comes from that adversity that we put on ourselves physically and mentally and then professionally.
Yeah. So tell us something that we would never imagine about you. Like, give me something like maybe a hobby you do, something you do that people be like, "There's no way Evan does. That's not Evan Miller. I know."
Yeah. I've got a handful, man. So I'm a vice president of a lowrider club. Have been for 15, 16 years. Now, this isn't like a big national lowrider club. These are guys that have been together for 20 years that just happen to have a bunch of lowriders. I have a 64 Impala on gold Dayton's.
Nice.
Beautiful. My wife won't let me sell it. I love it. It's part of the family. So we rebuild and collect classic cars. That's a big one. Outside of that, if I'm not on, I am off. My wife calls it the magician. Like when I'm getting ready for work, I'm getting ready. This is my suit. I wear a black shirt. I wear jeans and some fresh kicks every single day. It's exactly how I look. That's how I show up authentically. But when I put this on, I'm going to work. This is my uniform. I go in and I go to work as soon as I put it on. And when I'm off, I'm in a tank top, shorts. I'm kicking it by the pool. I'm working it out. And I'm a little bit reclusive in my personal time. Yeah. I enjoy privacy. I enjoy spending private time with my family. I have a very close group of friends. Purposefully, I'm a big loyalty guy, and I don't give it out freely.
Yeah.
But I think that's I think being in sales and being on, like people hear that about me and they're like, "I would never guess that about you." And I'm like, "Oh no." When I'm off, I am off.
I'm a huge introvert. I mean, I'm on stages with thousands of people and speaking and have a podcast and do all those things, but I'd much rather sit in the hotel room by myself.
Right. Yeah,
I'm just being
yeah, very
honest. Like,
similar.
I'd rather just be alone, right? Like, and then be home with my family. So I totally get that. So we talked briefly about what Element has become so far. To get to 60 million is a massive number, great improvement when other companies are saying, oh, business is tough. And it's like, you just have a lot of really good LOs that are dialed in and doing their work. And I'm blessed to coach several of them. So it's really nice to be part of that journey.
We're
But
blessed. Yeah, we're blessed.
yeah. So, what's next for Element? Like, what's the next marker? Like, where are we headed?
I mean, multiple next markers, but the end goal, not even the end goal, the longer distance goal that our leadership group and I personally have on my whiteboard, which if it's on the whiteboard, it's a commitment that I've made to myself, is 4 billion.
Okay.
4 billion is a number that I don't think is unattainable by any means.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with the right people with the right mindsets, who are bought in and who know the value proposition, who see the value, and who can ride as hard as we do. It's inevitable that it'll happen. I'm going to look back on this podcast and say, hey, publicly, that's the first time I've put it out there. But
Yeah.
and that is not for. I don't care about Scotsman's Guide.
Yeah.
I'm not about publicity. I'm not about anything. It's about the recognition of the execution for the entire group. That's my biggest key to this. I want this group to be recognized nationally because they should be. We have some absolute killers in this organization, who are great family people, who have good work-life balance, who are winning at the highest level. Like I want to go to 4 billion and have top producers saying this is the best work-life balance that I've ever had.
Yeah.
And we're living that today. And that is hands down a testament to the team building, the growth that we've had internally, the trust that we've been able to build to be able to go into originators' businesses and help them implement delegation paths and new products or skill sets or whatever it might be. But yeah, so I would say it for sure is 4 billion with a staff. So we did an NPS score. NPS score is a staff's ranking of your organization for would they refer you to anybody externally to come work there. We were 5 points out from a world-class rating.
Oh, wow.
And that was our first time we had done it. So for me, cool. We started off at a high level. I like that. I want to be a world-class organization where people have work-life balance and are hitting levels that they had never even anticipated were available.
Yeah.
This is about building legacies, and it's not my legacy alone. It's everybody's. I think that's been the biggest gap in our industry is, big publicly traded organizations, no offense to them, they've got a place in the organization or in the ecosystem for sure, but they're entrepreneurial spirited loan officers, processor. I mean, everybody in this hierarchy of the organization who they see it differently. This is a career, not a job. And I want people building legacies out of this. And so that's a piece of it. So second is we run an organization outside of the mortgage side that supports the mortgage side through our commercial division. And that for me is big. These ancillary organizations that we're building externally that can support loan officers, but echo their revenue out. That's a big piece. So I'd like to see that at $1 billion a year within the next 4 years as well. So $4 billion under execution per year. I'm sorry, 4 billion in the mortgage side, 1 billion through the commercial side.
Okay. Hey, none of those numbers scare me. So you got that.
Me either. Yeah. Maybe make it higher. It probably should be a little intimidating. Yeah. I think it's been on my board for 8 to 9 months at this point. And when I first put it down, I was like, who are we going to have to become to make
that's the best part though.
Is
who I get to become to get somewhere. Like when I work with LOs and they want to be $100 million, $200 million producers, I'm like, okay, well, we got to start thinking and acting like it today. Right. So like, who do you need to become as a divisional president to be responsible for 5 billion in business? Who do I need to be? Who do I need to start acting like today? Right. And it's so important that you believe it's possible first. You start doing the work and then everybody else will believe, right? Because our belief comes before the work. Their belief comes after the work, right? After they
That's
see us putting in the effort.
I'll tell you, man, self-fulfilling prophecies are the most damaging or positive thing people can do to themselves. If you have a negative self-fulfilling prophecy, go get a counselor. Like I'll be totally honest, I have no shame in my game at all. I'm from an old school family. Like we don't talk about our feelings a ton. Best thing I ever did in my marriage, get a counselor.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did for me professionally, get a business coach who focuses on the psychological counseling side.
Yeah.
Take the negative out of here, or you will not. If you are a negative self-fulfilling prophecy type of person, do yourself a favor and just go, hey, I've realized this about myself. I need to work on this, because you're right. If I don't believe, zero chance.
Yeah. When I get mad and I say something about myself, and my wife will say something about my husband again, and I'm going to kick your ass. Like, literally, that's what she says. Like literally, say something about my husband again. Go ahead. Yeah. Cause I'm going to kick your ass if you do. So, yeah, it's so easy to turn and get down on yourself at any moment.
Especially in this industry. I mean, like, I know there's a lot of other people from outside industries. This industry is feast and famine sometimes. And it's helping understand personally, how do I ride the center? Hey, I just had the best month ever, right in the center. I just took some bad beats, right in the center.
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce, because this is a marathon, baby. It's not a 100-yard sprint. Like I got gas in the tank.
Dude, this is Leadville. This ain't no marathon, brother. This is
yeah.
This is
Shout out to Brandon Head, a guy from our Wisconsin office who lives in Colorado. He's going to be running Leadville in a couple weeks. So shout out to Brandon. You got a lot of support out there.
Yeah, I've had a friend run it a couple times, and both times he made it just under the cutoff time, like 29 hours and some change. And he's a sub 3-hour marathon guy.
Oh,
like just ran Boston at like 2:55. He's 50 years old. Ran a 2:55 at 50 years old in Boston.
I love it.
You know what I mean? So like, and to see that equate into what Leadville is, I'm like, I'm crazy. Like I'm crazy. I love to do crazy stuff. I'm not going to Leadville for nothing. Like,
bro, they sent me the trail map, and that a couple people had signed up internally, and Zach Starnes from Wisconsin hit me up. He goes, do you have any FOMO for not signing up for this? And I was like, not even a little bit. Yeah, zero FOMO for not signing up for this at all.
No, I have no desire. So look, I'm really glad you got on here today and chopped it up with me. I think it's going to be great for people to get to see what I see on our calls, right? Get to see more who Evan is. You're a little bit shy on the social media, though you're not out there. We don't see you. So hopefully this will help get some of that out there a little bit. And if you're listening to this or watching on YouTube and you're in a spot where you want to make a move and you're saying, hey, I want to have some conversations, all of Evan's contact information will be in the notes, and feel free to reach out and contact him. And I'm sure he would do a no hassle approach to show you what it would be like to be part of the team at Element.
Yeah, Chris, I appreciate it, brother. And, you know what? I'm purposefully a little reclusive on social media because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about this organization and the execution. But I'm going to take that as a call out, and I will put a concerted effort to be more visible from an organizational standpoint.
Yeah, it's not about you. It's about the people watching you.
Yeah.
You got to do it that way.
You're so good at this. Yeah, exactly.
If you're cutting videos for yourself, they're never going to be any good. If I'm doing it because I know there's one person that's going to watch it and it might help them, that's what it's about.
Magic.
Right? That's what it's about.
Yeah. Brother, thank you for having me today.
Thanks a lot, brother.